in so while I was mistaken about the industrial Sun folks being focused on C&I, the next folks are absolutely focused on helping the C&I market. Why don't you guys come on up? Mark Liffmann from Omnidian, the CEO of Omnidian, and Lisa Yops, the Director of Client Success at Omnidian, are going to join us to talk a bit about how they're experiencing the show. Mark is by no means new to RE+.
I am. My first RE+ was 2004. And in a little ballroom in San Francisco with 30 booths.
Oh my goodness.
So we've grown a lot since then. And it's super exciting to hear you say that we are moving the economy.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing that's keeping us out of recession is Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and clean energy.
Yeah.
We have a booming economy for 3 things, and we're one. And we're in good company.
That's great. Yeah.
2004 SPI makes him an original clean techer. We can call him an OC.
I think so.
Absolutely.
I think so. Lisa, how many RE+ have you attended?
I've been coming since 2012.
Wow!
Dallas.
Look at Omnidian team rolling deep with industry OGs. That's great. Mark, for those who are unfamiliar, could you give us a sense of how Omnidian has evolved over the last year? And we had a great conversation with you guys last year, and you were talking about how Omnidian is serving and empowering the residential sector with our friends from Bodie. Could you give us a sense of the last year?
Yeah, so we've really expanded. We're doubling in size every year right now, and serving. We're at gigawatt scale, keeping track of and maintaining those assets and ensuring the performance of those assets across both residential and commercial.
Yeah.
And we've seen just a vast growth in the industry, and really a change in the industry even year to year. If I think back a few SPIs. People were like, develop, and we'll go figure out what happens post-PTO later.
That's right.
And then, a few years ago, they're like, we need some O&M.
Right.
And then, now they're realizing...
No moving parts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now they're realizing we don't need O&M. We needed an integrated third-party partner who is integrating with us pre-PTO, ensuring that system gets built correctly and then works for the next 20 years and works, both performs and works safely. And that's been the thing that's driven our business across both residential and commercial, is to make sure we're integrated with those partners and we're helping that system work for that next 20, 25, 30 years.
We think a lot about C&I and the commercial space in Hawaii in terms of like the hotels and that kind of environment. I wonder what some of the biggest concerns are when they're trying to go solar in the C&I space.
Yeah, Lisa will talk a little bit about this. The number one concern on C&I is safety. Absolutely number 8, dwarfs anything else. So we need to put safe systems on rooftops, and we need to ensure that they stay safe. So that is the absolute number one concern. After that, it's performance. It's paying. Am I going to get what I paid for out of this asset? I paid for kilowatt hours to come out. Are those kilowatt hours going to come out, or is this going to be just this thing that hangs out on my rooftop?
Yeah. You used a term that I haven't heard until obviously you introduced it to the industry, but post-PTO. Most people are racing to get to PTO, and then they sort of leave and let the customer deal with what happens after. Lisa, you're dealing directly with these clients. What could you tell me about this post-PTO experience and how it's evolving?
Yeah, absolutely. The post-PTO experience, as Mark described, one of the leading factors there is, as soon as you completed the system, you've now got it on your roof or ground, wherever it is, and you've been told it's supposed to produce. Now we come in and we guarantee that produces.
Yeah.
We provide reporting on that it's continuing to produce. We provide all of the services around supporting that production. And one of the things we're seeing driving both our clients and the industry around that is coalescing around that concept of safety. And how do we ensure that? And QA/QC is an interesting role there because it's about building transparency. So it's not about a punch list. It's not punitive. It's about building a relationship around the transparency and the visibility behind that.
Yeah. One of the things we don't see a whole lot of on the show floor yet is conversation around O&M, right? You were saying how we're in this post-PTO experience already, and so I just think out loud, like, when will we see the O&M section the way we started to see batteries? There was like 6 stalls for batteries, and now it's a whole quadrant of the show.
Well, I mean, I think one thing I noticed about the show is it has spilled out beyond the show floor.
Yeah, that's right.
There is a fantastic show floor here, and the show extends like all the way down to the Cosmo, which is about a half mile away.
Yeah.
But for regular people, that is 17 miles in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, yeah.
But this show has really expanded through every restaurant and bar here is taken up with meeting spaces and receptions. But that goes all the way down the strip. So this is a show that we're seeing some of that O&M discussion. But one day we're going to have the big booth, and we will anchor the what we call the performance assurance section.
I love it. Well, when that day comes, we'll be here talking about it on the Daily Roundup, that's for sure. Mark Liffmann and Lisa, thank you so much for joining us on Daily Roundup. It's been a pleasure, as always, to hear how you guys are experiencing the show. Any last? I don't know if you had anything to say. Step in there on there, Casey.
No, I'm struck by the afterthought quality that the sector has given to operations.
Yeah.
And it's not appropriate. It's kind of like energy efficiency. It's not an afterthought. It's actually like really essential. It's so cool to hear what you're doing.
Yeah.
And man, my gosh, is it needed. So anyway, hats off to what you're doing.
We got to keep those customers happy and safe.
Yeah. Well,
great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm wondering if you guys have already your tally sheet for what you're going to check off tomorrow. A lot of folks would say, oh, Thursday, I'm going home. But yet, there's still at least a half a day on the show floor. Don't go home. There are loads of vendors that will be ready to offload their swag, if not their ideas. And there is much less traffic for you to talk to them. What do you guys got on your checklist for tomorrow?
I'm going to check out energy storage in greater detail. We're seeing that coming out of our customers. They're bringing energy storage to us. They're starting to think about asset management from an O&M standpoint for storage as well as solar, much like, we got into a lot of things in 2011-12.
Yeah.
Later, we thought about how we need to maintain those assets. So it's great to see these conversations moving up the chain towards that idea of O&M sooner. So talking about O&M for batteries tomorrow.
And gratefully, you've got a whole section dedicated to it.
Nico, you weren't supposed to ask me that question.
I know.
I am sneaking out tomorrow morning. I was supposed to stay for the day because my wife got Beyonce tickets. Whoa. So I have to go
You're
home
contributing to the economy, Mark. It's okay.
in time to take care of the kids so she can go to Beyonce.
Fantastic.
He's doing his duty to the American economy.
That's right.
Let's respect what he's doing. I think it's important.
In at least two areas.
Absolutely.
Mike, you sticking around?
I am until 1:15.
Yeah, that's fair.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
How about yourself there, bud?
We've got the morning show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll be co-hosting with...
Where's my invite?
It'll be broadcast live up on the Jumbotron and at SunCast.live. Lauren Glickman from Encore Renewables will be co-hosting with me as my co-host Lisa Ann Pinkerton also has a 6 a.m. flight and is bouncing out. So sorry, Lisa. Lauren is gonna bring the heat. We've got a special announcement tomorrow, actually, that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. So anyone who that captures your attention, you should definitely tune in to the morning show to see what that might be. But I promise that it's at least a sensitive subject and certainly a tearjerker for some. Porter?
Yeah. We got some plans for tomorrow. We're going to take it easy and just kind of do a little Jay and Josh show down at, in our booth area. But I'll tell you this, I heard someone say that it was 41,000. That was you, right, Mike? 41,000 attendees. And when I heard that, I thought to myself, I've covered CES for a handful of years, and that was when I would talk to the different hoteliers, they would say, this is the largest thing that happens in Vegas. Yeah. And I thought, we're not far off of that. Every year, it's the largest thing that happens in Vegas. What if, a couple years down the road, this is the largest thing that happens in Vegas? That struck me. It's possible.
Piece of context. Our Uber driver last night, going to a reception, he gives tours. He's a professional tour guide. How many conventions do you think this city hosts a year? If you had to guess. Josh. Nico, what do you guess?
Slightest idea.
600.
25,000.
What?
Oh, wow.
How's that?
25,000. And he claimed that produces a visitor total of 6 million people.
6 million.
6 million
That's
people.
amazing. That's 68 concurrent events a day.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's pretty crazy.
Also-
Now, just to
see-
be fair, my cab driver on the way over told me that to light up the sphere, it takes 15 terawatts.
Oh my God.
He
I
used the
have
word
actually wondered
terawatt?
that.
That's pretty great.
He
I've
did
wondered
use the word terawatt. Now, considering the entire electrical capacity of the United States is 1 terawatt, they're a little bit more. I'm not sure
I
it
think
was
he was
accurate.
confusing it
Mark's
with
up here
gigawatts.
giving shade on my Uber driver. He's more
Your
defensive
Uber driver is probably better than my cab
He
driver.
can't defend
All right.
himself.
As
Mark,
they
this
di-
is a drive-by. If I
As
ever
they
seen that,
digress
man.
and
Come
devolve,
on.
we're going to bring the Daily Roundup to a close. I'm so grateful for everyone who joined us here live at the podcast stage. Thanks to KeyBank Capital Markets. Thanks to Modern Energy for helping bring this wonderful content to you guys and bring smiles to my face and all of those out in the crowd.
All right.
We'll see you
Thank
again.
you, guys.
Hey, let's give a shout out to these two guys for doing the hard work of this podcast, right?
All right.
Some good stuff you guys do. Love it.